A long, long time ago, I can still remember when that music used to make me smile. And I knew they'd have their chance if I could just make the people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. And February made me shiver with every newspaper that was delivered. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more. Long time ago, Utes always had plenty. This is Chief Ouray. Hooray for Ouray. No, Ouray. All right, we got to say it correctly. It's spelled Ouray. It's pronounced Ouray. So just pretend the U is an R. Ouray. Ouray. All right, so here we go. Chief Ouray. Kit Carson, Ouray, Chief Spokesman of the Utes. Ouray was the chief spokesman for the Utes Territorial Governor Cummings Utes Reservation. All right. These are the words of Chief Ouray. A long time ago, Utes always had plenty on the prairie, antelope and buffalo. So many Ouray can't count in the mountains. Deer and bear everywhere in the streams. Trout, duck, beaver, everything. Good Manitow gave all to red man. Utes happy all the year. White man came. And now the Utes go hungry. A heap game much go every year. Hard to shoot now, old man. Often weak for want of food. Squaw and papoose cry. Only the strong brave live. White man grow a heap. Red man no grow soon die all. Utes stop not in one place. And Comanches no find. But Utes settle down, then Comanches come and kill. Tell great father, Cheyennes and Comanches go to the reservations first. Then the Utes will, but the Comanches first. The Comanches first. General Rustling, who attended the council, summarized the results. The governor rehashed his arguments and presented them anew in various ways. But to all of them, Ouray steadily made answer, Ouray has spoken. And there the matter ended. The treaty council was a failure. General William Tecumseh Sherman, who was one of those representing the Caucasians, is reported to have said, Caucasians, the Americans, the whites. That's what this P. David Smith is saying, the whites. Well, the gringos, the Blanco gringos, the white bread, white cracker, white bread, white steams. It was reported to said and discuss after the meeting they will have to freeze and starve a little more, I reckon, before they will listen to common sense. God damn it! All these great Civil War fucking heroes basically suck when it comes to Native American relations. Cool, William Tecumseh Sherman. Awesome. He's making sense here, you motherfucker. You want the goddamn Utes to become farmers, right? Everybody settle down, get a house, get 5 acres, start farming. You want them to become an agrarian people, right? That's the whole damn point. How can the Utes be agrarian when they start their farms and the Cheyennes and the Comanches steal their shit? No, you take the Cheyennes and the Comanches. When they go to the reservations first, then the Utes will, because you're not being fair. You're sitting there telling the Utes to get domesticated, join the agricultural revolution, plant some corn crops, and live in a house and do as, the private profiteers, the goddamn European fucking Anglo-Saxon gringo, pinko, stinko, the Caucasians. So the Caucasians are Caucasianing. Ouray himself followed and helped take the hostile Utes prisoner, delivered them to Fort Garland where they were jailed. Wow, great. Great Ouray. Ouray helped with fucking that pervert Lafayette Head. Don't talk to me about no fucking... Lafayette Head's a Christopher Columbus fucking slave trafficking, fucking molester, oppressor, criminal, fucking disgusting pile of shit. Fuck Lafayette Head. Fuck Lafayette Head. Lafayette Head could burn in hell for all I give a fuck. William Tecumseh Sherman, you pile of shit. September of 1866, General Sherman visited Fort Garland. Kit Carson was the commander. Meetings were again held with the Utes. Sherman was impressed with the way Kit Carson was able to deal with the Indians. He noted that Ouray was influential among his people and that he was on good terms with Kit Carson. Let's see here. A small group of Utes raided the settlers on Huerfano Creek, and Ouray sent runners to warn other settlers. Ouray himself followed, helped take the hostile Utes prisoners. Okay. Oh, great. Ouray is going around. He's like the head sheriff in charge of all the Utes. You know, the Utes had 23 million acres. The Utes had 23 million acres. Here's a picture of Chief Ouray. Chief Ouray looks very similar to Colleen Romero. Chief Ouray had a son who he nicknamed Apple because he had a big fat round apple face. He had a big fat round apple head. Hey there, little apple. Hey there, little apple. Unfortunately, his son is going to get kidnapped, and then some motherfucker is going to pretend they found his son, which that's got to be what? Hey man, we found your son. No, this is actually your, that is not my son. I know who my son is, you motherfucker. So that's sad. And then he's going to adopt some, which, from who? Lafayette Head. Sherman was impressed at the way, if the Civil War came to an end, more trouble was in store for the Utes. Treaties were signed with the Arapahoes, Cheyennes, Apaches, Comanches, and Kiowas. The Utes were the only natives. Indians, he keeps saying, I can't. Left to deal with in the Colorado Territory, the Reconstruction government bogged down with bureaucracy, considered native agents' jobs political favors to be handed out. Okay, here's another quote. Samuel Bowles wrote in 1868 of a band of Utes he met in Middle Park. So you heard about how it was, a plenty, right? It was like a Garden of Eden. You had trout and duck and beaver. You had deer and bear and trout and duck and beaver and trout and duck and deer and bear and deer. So you had all the food in the world. You had all the water in the world, all the food in the world. You never went starving. You never went hungry. And then the damn white man comes, and now we're fucking hungry all the fucking time, And then now you want us to live like you, but then when we live like you, the Cheyenne and the Comanches are fucking taking our shit. How the hell are we supposed to make that work? That makes no sense. Listen to yourselves. It's not logical. It makes no sense. Samuel Bowles wrote in 1868 of a band of Utes he met in Middle Park. I guess 1868. They look frailer and feebler than you would expect. I did not see a single Indian who was 6 feet high or would weigh over 175 pounds. They are all indeed undersized and no match in nervous or physical force for the average white man. Their square heads, coarse hair, hideous daubs of yellow and red paint on the cheek and forehead, any motley raiment. Here a white man's cast-off hat, coat, or pantaloons. If a squaw, a shabby old gown of calico or a shirt of white cloth, alternate with Indian leggings and moccasins, bare legs and feet, a dirty, whiter, flaming red blanket, a beaded jacket of leather, feathers, brass, tin trinkets hanging on the head from the ears down the back or breast. All these disorderly and unaccustomed combinations give them at first a repulsive and finally a very absurd appearance. Alright, so basically they look frailer and feebler was the point, just that they weren't. So what are you so scared of there, Caucasian? In June 1868, Chief Navava died. The northern bands were in turmoil, trying to decide who would be his successor. Antelope, Douglas Johnson, Colorado, and Captain Jack. Chief Colorado and Captain Jack were all candidates. Ouray suggested that one solution to the problem would be that they remain sub-chiefs, since Ouray was now officially the head chief. Of all the 7 Ute bands, none of the sub-chiefs liked the idea. However, eventually Douglas assumed an uneasy leadership position. The Treaty of 1868. Here's a picture of Ouray. Here's a picture of Ouray doing some treaty stuff. So apparently his own brother-in-law tried to kill him. So let's, got some notes here. So Chief Ouray was raised in Taos. Chief Ouray. and he's going to move to western Colorado, the Uncompahgre Plateau, the heart of the Ute territory. I want to say it's over there southwest Colorado. There was a Ute territory. The Meeker Massacre is going to happen in northwest Colorado, which is kind of crazy. I guess there's a Utah. I guess there's some reservations over there in Utah, which is kind of close by. But the two Ute reservations essentially is in northeast Utah and southwest Colorado. So the bottom corner of southwest Colorado, and then the top right corner of Utah is where the Utes live today. But there's Ute Mountain. There's Ute Mountain in Costilla County, Colorado. There's Ute Mountain over there. There's the Utes were attacking Don Diego de Vargas. Don Diego de Vargas is going to cross the Lobato Bridge. No, not the Lobato. He's going to cross the bridge up from the Lobato Bridge. But he's going to get attacked by the Utes when he crosses. He just crossed for a day or two. The Utes attacked him. They killed several Utes. But the Utes pretended they didn't know the Spanish because they had always been on, favorable terms with the Spanish. But they did attack him at dawn, right? They attacked him and they looked like Spanish. But they said that their enemies were dressed like Spanish people. So I guess they would have done that, right? Other Native Americans who took the Spanish out just wear the Spanish gear. I mean, that would just be scary. Even if you knew it was a Native American, it was like, dang, that motherfucker killed a Spaniard. He killed a Spanish soldier and took his, helmet and shit. So for 17 years, Ouray is going to live in Taos. He was born in 1833 to 1850. He was actually a part of the 1848, the Taos Revolt, the 1847 Taos Revolt. And so you have 1680 Pueblo Revolt, and then you have the 1847 Pueblo Revolt. The Pueblo Revolt was just in Taos, and Charles Bent is going to get killed and 13 other Americans. But it was the governor. So they kind of wiped out the whole government of New Mexico. So I guess that was a successful revolution for half a second. Then the American soldier is going to go in there and kill 150 Pueblo Native Americans. So goddamn, it wasn't proportional at all. They were going to make the fucking Pueblo natives, subdue the shit out of them. Nah, there's not going to be any of this killing of a governor shit anymore. 1680 Pueblo Revolt is when the Native Americans, not just Taos, but like 50 other Pueblo towns overthrew the Spanish. The Spanish had ruled New Mexico for about 100 fucking years, but the Native Americans got sick of it, and this guy named Pope, he organized 50 other Pueblo towns and villages, and then one night the signal was given, and they went ahead and, destroyed the churches and the friars and the fucking every goddamn thing Spanish. The Spanish fucking wares, the Spanish peoples, the Spanish this, the Spanish that, the Spanish tongue, the Spanish customs, the Spanish history. They were going to go back to a time that they remembered. And they were the iconoclasts. So it was an iconoclastic revolution. 1680 Pueblo Revolt was an iconoclastic revolution. It wasn't just a revolt or rebellion. 10 years or 20 years later, the Spanish are going to come back and reconquer the territory. But for a decade, the Native Americans were able to stomp the Spanish on their fucking own. I don't even hear of like anybody giving them guns or arms or any shit. They were just sick of the fucking shit. They spread the word. This Pope was like running everywhere. He had like this little string with knots on it, and apparently after 13 knots, everybody's supposed to untie a knot, and then at the very end of the string was when they were going to rebel. 50 Pueblo towns. So the 1680 Pueblo Revolt included 50 Pueblo towns, whereas the 1847 Taos Revolt only included Taos. So Ouray, his mother was a Ute, but his father was a Jicarilla Apache. His father is a Jicarilla Apache, and his father's going to move out to western Colorado. I want to say Ouray and his brother moves out there with his father. And then immediately the Jicarilla Apache is going to become the leader of the Utes. And then he lives as a Ute, as a nomadic Ute, hunting and fishing and just running around on a horse and just being a nomadic Ute in southwest Colorado on the Uncompahgre Plateau, the heart of the Ute territory. So he was in Taos for 17 years, and then he was in southern Colorado, the corner of southern Colorado, for the next 5, 10, 15 years or so. Maybe for the rest of the time, I'm not for sure. Over there by Montrose, Montezuma County. In 1852, America delivered rations to the Muasis and the Capotes. In Albuquerque, 1853, Arroyo Head, Red River, and near Chama, New Mexico. They also got rations delivered from America. So Chama, New Mexico, we're passing out gifts and foods to, people in Chama. We're passing out foods and gifts to people in the Red River and the Arroyo Hondo, which is, right there by Taos. Chama is right there. Because it's kind of crazy. The Uncompahgre Plateau is way the fuck over there. That's like a goddamn 4 or 5 hour drive. So to move from Taos to, the southwest Colorado was no easy feat. That was a big, let's pick up and go do something else. It is not working here. His father's name was Salvador Guerrera Mura, also known as Salvador. So Ouray, he was part of a treaty, 1863 treaty, 1868 treaty. Ouray is going to marry a black mare. He's not going to marry a horse, but he's going to marry a Native American named Black Mare. Black Beauty, Black Mare, I don't know. 4-day march. I wonder what she actually looks like. It was at the Bear Dance, 1853. Ouray is going to marry Black Mare, 4-day march celebration, the Bear Dance. Some reason I just wrote 40 Utes were killed in Saguache, so near Saguache, this town of Saguache. So I'll have to expand on that. But 40 Utes were killed in Saguache. The Fort Pueblo Massacre happened December 25th, 1854. Just to give you the time period, right? So 17-year-old Ouray is going to move to western Colorado, 1854. Meanwhile, in Fort Pueblo, the Jicarilla Apache and the Muashi Utes, they were overthrown Fort Pueblo. This is 1854 on Christmas, December 25th. 15 men are going to get killed. 2 boys and a woman are going to get kidnapped. And that was led by Tierra Blanco. Ouray was the translator between John Evans and Abraham Lincoln. John Evans was one of the first or the second. He would be the second governor of Colorado, right? The first one was that one guy. Ouray was a very popular guy. Ouray didn't just meet Abraham Lincoln and U.S. Grant. He also met Rutherford B. Hayes. And yeah, you might not be impressed with Rutherford B. Hayes, but he gave him a nice little quote. He said that Ouray was the most intellectual man he's ever talked to. Rutherford B. Hayes. So this Ouray was a smart cookie. He was a smart cookie. He doesn't exactly look like a, ninja dojo fighter, but 1880, the Uncompahgre Utes and the White River Utes, they're going to move to the reservation in Utah. So that's going to happen after the Meeker Massacre. The Meeker Massacre is going to kind of turn everything downwards, but 23 million acres, it sucks to give up that much, but the acreage up there is fucking, they used to have all the Rocky Mountains, right? The Utes used to have 23 million acres of Rocky Mountains, but the Uinta and the Ouray Reservation, the reservation in Utah is 6.7 square miles, and it's shared by a population of 19,000, and that was in 2000. The capital is Fort Duquesne, 1886, northeast Utah. So Abraham Lincoln designated the Uinta and Ouray Reservation October 3rd, 1861. The Uinta one was first, and then the Ouray one was done by a succeeding president. I don't know who. But Abraham Lincoln started the Uinta Reservation, which just got to be known as Ouray's Reservation, in 1861. So 1861, then 1866, 6.7 square miles. So that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a nice chunk of land. And it's 19,000. They should get organized and really take over their fucking area of America. they got their own dirt. They're guaranteed their own dirt forever and ever. The Ute Mountain Tribe Reservation, Towaoc, Colorado, southwest corner of Colorado, Montezuma County. So you got the Ute Mountain Tribe Reservation, then you got the Southern Ute Reservation, and that's in La Plata, Archuleta County. So that's right next to each other. Essentially, you got 2 main sections, southwest Colorado and northeast Utah. And I'm not sure how big the reservations are southwest Colorado, but those are the 3 Ute reservations of today. South Ute Reservation, the Ute Mountain Tribe Reservation, Uinta Ouray Reservation. The treaties, 1867, 1868, 1873, they kept on asking Ouray to sign treaties, and they kept taking mining rights and this and that. And then eventually the Meeker Massacre happens, and they're like, okay, just get the fuck off the land, go here to this reservation. And even though he signed all those treaties, 1863 treaty, 1867, 1868, 1873, the Utes are still living in their ancestral homeland. They were still living in their ancestral homeland until they had the Meeker Massacre. The Meeker Massacre is going to fuck everything up. Can the Utes uprising? There was Kit Carson was part of the 1867 treaty. So Utes, there was an uprising. There was an uprising in 1867. The Nickagat, and Ouray and Kit Carson had signed a treaty. 47 chiefs signed that treaty. So 1863, 67, 68, 1873. 1/3 of Colorado went to the Utes in the 1863 treaty. The Treaty of Conejos. 1863 Treaty of Conejos. Ouray was able to get 1/3 of Colorado. All the left side of Colorado, the western portion of the mountains, was the Utes. That's a nice little fat treaty right there. But the Utes also agreed for roads and military forts, so they allowed America to build all the roads and military forts that America wanted to build. So it was only a matter of time before you had that massacre, 1864 massacre. So even during the Civil War, John Chivington is going to kill all those Arapaho and Cheyenne sleeping old women and men, old men and children. Rutherford B. Hayes said that Ouray was the most intellectual man he's ever talked to. The Tabagachi tribe, there are 7 Ute tribes, 7 bands of Utes, and they didn't get along. They weren't allies. So Ouray might have been an imperfect leader, but he was like the closest one that was able to unite all of them. Also, Abraham Lincoln is the one that bequested the Uinta Reservation in 1861. So he went ahead and carved a little piece of Utah out just in case. Who knows what might happen in the future, but here's over 6 square miles for your people until the end of time, as long as you're able to keep it. Black Mare had died after she gave childbirth. The apple boy who's going to get kidnapped, his mother had died right after childbirth. The apple boy, his Native American name is Quaegut. And they said that the childbirth, maybe Black Mare had died after childbirth, but maybe Black Mare had died because of a rattlesnake bite. Black Beauty, was she actually black or was she just really dark skinned? Why'd they call her Black Beauty? Now, Ouray is 26 years of age when he marries 16-year-old Chipeta. Now, that's not as repulsive as that motherfucking Lafayette Head marrying that 12-year-old. So, Lafayette Head is going to marry a 12-year-old and is going to participate in slave and labor trafficking. So, that fucking perverted son of a bitch. He's also like a politician, New Mexico and Colorado politician. He's going to come to Conejos County and just basically run Conejos County. Fucking Lafayette Head, that motherfucker. Navajo. They mostly trafficked Navajo. I've seen their names all over the place. Everybody owned a Navajo slave here and there around Costilla County and Conejos in the SLV. So 16-year-old Chipeta. And then if they, I think age of consent, if you have your parents' permission, I think marriage would still be legal in Colorado today. And probably most states today. That happens in 1859, 2 years before the Civil War begins. So, his first wife dies. His son is going to get kidnapped here in a second. He's married to Chipeta. And Chipeta means white singing bird, and Chipeta means the charitable one. So, 1860 or 63. They don't know which one. There's 3 years, which is kind of at Fort Lupton. You had 31 members of the Utes. You had Ouray running around with his Ute tribe at Fort Lupton, and 300 Sioux is going to attack him. The Battle of Fort Lupton, wherever Fort Lupton is. So it's 300 Sioux versus 31 Utes. Of course, the 31 Utes are going to get licked, And then they try to find the son later on. Appleboy goes missing. They kidnapped Appleboy. They took Appleboy. Kit Carson is in Fort Garland in 1866. Ouray and Chipetta is going to adopt 2 boys and 2 girls. I like to think that they're just adopting them to be a part of their family, but it makes me nervous because it's like, oh my goodness. Ouray was hired by Lafayette Head, so Ouray was like 2 boys. He was also, I want to say, Kit Carson. Ouray was very friendly with the white establishment. I guess he basically thought that fighting the Americans, he was there with the Taos revolt. So he saw, probably he might have been a part of the Taos revolt. They killed the governor, right? They killed the governor and 13 others, and then they kind of, didn't. And then he saw just the 150 Native Americans got fucking wiped the fuck out. So they're probably scared to shit. So Ouray, he didn't think that fighting against America militarily would work. And so he would get shit from his friends and his people because he keeps signing these fucking treaties and shit. But it's like, what the fuck do you expect me to do? These goddamn... He said that the Colorado people are his enemies. So he's looking at all these Caucasians coming in and saying, like, I have to keep these sons of bitches off my shit. And if the federal government's the only thing that's protecting me, maybe we should get the best deal that we can and just go on to fucking Oklahoma. So hopefully, I like to think the best of people. So 1866, Chipetta and Ouray is going to adopt 2 boys and 2 girls, and now he actually has his family. His, Appleboy was kidnapped, so they had lost that. His first wife is gone, but now 2 boys and 2 girls. They've adopted 2 boys, so now you got a family of 6. Ouray's sister was also kidnapped. They call her Susan, but also Shaw Sheen. Shaw Sheen was kidnapped by the Arapaho, but later on she's going to come back. So yeah, Lafayette Head, motherfucker. That Lafayette Head is like the goddamn fucking right-wing sovereign movement. They fucking come with all their fucking bullshit. From Alabama, Pennsylvania. No, these motherfuckers are from Illinois. And then what's even more fucked up is Lafayette Head. He married the 12-year-old girl, comes from Illinois to Conejos County, and then she's going to die. Mysteriously, she just died. What happened? And then guess what? He's going to marry a wealthy Spanish widow. Oh, okay. How fucking convenient. How fucking convenient. You piece of shit. What the fuck did you do? What the fuck did you do? The Tabagauchi tribe is the Ute tribe. Rutherford B. Hayes. Abraham Lincoln. 1856, 1860. Ouray. He was living his normal nomadic life. There was 5 major skirmishes, 1856 in the summer. Chief Navava and 10 warriors were ambushed. Or no, they ambushed, no. Something, there was an ambush. 8, they got their horses back. Chief Navava, 10 warriors, 8 people are going to get killed. And 0 died on the side of Ouray. Southwest Colorado is the Uncompadre Plateau. It's 2,300 square miles. Uncompadre means dirty water. Wait, 2,300 square miles? Can that be right? Square miles. Square miles? I thought 23 million square miles. Oh, okay. 23 million. 2,300. That's a little different. Okay, so dirty water. Uncompadre Plateau means dirty water. Also, rocks make the water red. So that's where he was at, the Uncompahgre Plateau, the Uncompahgre Utes. He was part of the Uncompahgre Ute band. There's 7 bands. So it's kind of like the Prussians. The Uncompadre Utes took over all the other Utes. And this is west of Montrose. Montrose is used a lot. So Montrose is kind of situated in the middle. Delta, Mesa, Montrose, Ouray, San Miguel counties, Montezuma County, Meeker Massacre, Nathan Meeker, and the Ute Wars. The Sioux, the Comanche, Cheyenne, Arapaho, Kiowa, Apache. The Uinta, you could see Utes in that word. Utah's in that word too. I wonder if Utes was just simplified. Uinta, Utes, the Utes. the Towa, the Tiwa, the Taiwa, and the Kiva. The Towa, the Tiwa, the Tiva, the Tiwa, the Tiwa, and the Kiva. White Antelope, Left Hand, Black Kettle, Cheyenne, and Arapaho. This is Shivington, November 29th, 1864. Like 300 Arapaho and Cheyenne are going to get killed. That's of the White Antelope, Left Hand, and Black Kettle's people. Little Chief. Columbus was in the trafficking. That fucking Lafayette Head. He replaced Kit Carson in 1861 as the first Native American agent, and he's going to hire Ouray for $500 a year. He trafficked the Navajo. Lafayette Head trafficked the Navajo. So, great Native American motherfucking, yeah, son of a bitch. What the fuck? 1637, Louis de Rosas kidnapped 80 Utes, and he used them for slaves, made them into basket weavers, tanners of animal skins, sheep herders. So this trafficking for labor and sex has been going on since 1637, since Louis de Rosas. So Lafayette Head, Louis de Rosas, Christopher Columbus. How many of these motherfucking Spanish conquistadors, Don Diego de Vargas, de Soto, Ponce de Leon, these bastards just fucking terrorized the shit, took whatever the fuck they want, did whatever the Pizarro. They took out civilization. They took out the Aztec. They took out the Inca. They took out the Aztec and the Inca and the Mayan. They took out the three main civilizations that was on the American continent. Yeah, great job, Spanish conquistadors. Pizarro. Are they all named Francisco? Francisco, everybody. Don Diego, Francisco. San Francisco, Pizarro, Francisco. The Utes attacked the Spanish and the Navajo. So why do you have Navajo natives, being trafficked? Because of the Utes. And the Spanish. I mean, the Spanish are the ones that are going to fucking establish this shit. There's some, I used to think the Spanish were pretty bad, but I guess if the English are the ones that won out, then I guess that would make the English the worst ones, right? The Utes kidnapped Navajo and the Paiute kids for Spanish slave trade. So it wasn't just the Navajo, they also kidnapped the Paiutes. What's the Paiutes? That sounds like a part of the Utes, like a smaller version of the Ute tribe. The Utes would kidnap the Paiutes. What the fuck? They're like Paiutes. They're like you. You're kidnapping Kit Carson. His home was in Taos from 1843 to 1863. So I wonder, he would be a part. Kit Carson was there during the damn fucking 1847 Taos revolt. Kit Carson was there, and Ouray was there. Ouray would have been only 14, 12, 10 years old. So it's remarkable that Kit Carson didn't kidnap Ouray and then make him into a slave of Lafayette Head. Let's see here. The Sioux, the Arapaho, fishing and fighting. So that's who the Utes, they had a normal nomadic life, horseback riding, hunting, fishing, fighting the Sioux and the Arapaho. Grandpa, take me back to good old days. Fighting the Sioux and the Arapaho. And then you have 1847. The Pueblos revolted, killed Charles Bent and 13 Americans, and then the U.S. soldiers are going to retaliate and kill 150. That's not proportional at all. 1850, 17-year-old Ouray is going to move to southwest Colorado. 1833, Ouray is born. So he was there, and he's probably a part of the fucking rebellion. I'd like to think Kit Carson was probably on the opposite side. They were fighting against each other. Later on, would become best as friends, but... And I heard that there was disputes. Yeah, he thought that the people of Colorado was fucking with him, and so he always said, we got to resolve this shit in federal courts. Ouray helped to negotiate laying down of arms after the Meeker Massacre. 7 Ute bands. The 7 Ute bands were not close allies, so with him trying to take over the Ute bands at least nation building... Chief Ouray was in the nation building. Nathan Meeker, shall I read this? No.